Greetings, everybody. Today I will talk about very interesting topic, fourth caste, for caste system that was originated in India, and people used to live like that for probably who knows thousands, centuries. Many people think that it is outdated right now. That I mean. It is not really outdated, and I'll explain why. Back in the days, people, yes, they used to live in like the way where you're born. You're born with parents of, for example, Shudras, and this is where you belong. It's not exactly like that. Those caste systems more describe the state of consciousness, the state that people are born with. And even though our modern world tries to move in a state of equality, uh, in actuality, we're not equal. Okay? That doesn't mean that somebody needs to be mocked at. It's like, we all go to schools, right? But some people, they're already graduating school, while somebody's just starting their first grade. It's as simple as it is. Is the first grade is equal as 11? Not really. But there's also should be, taken from the perspective that some people just graduating and some people just starting their school. So, from the perspective of caste systems, we have four types. So we have the very first type of people. They are called, basically in Chinese it was called Shudra, which is just the workers. They it's basically people who just looking for survival. They all their life is just survival, and after work they just, I don't know, they decide to go to McDonald's. And I'm just giving an example, right? I'm just giving like a random example that very standard, very average. So let's say if they work, probably like low paid jobs, maybe perhaps in the service industry, and then after that they don't do any sort of work on themselves. They just Netflix and chill, McDonald's, let's go eat popcorn, watch movies. They read news, they believe whatever the media tells them to do. Doctors, they believe in doctors, of course, take pills. They choose partners in the very basic principles, very basic. If it's just, because they don't have, they're like very simple minded, like they don't have really high requirements. Maybe they met this person somewhere in high school, maybe they met this person somewhere in college, and that's fine. Like they don't really change that much throughout the lifetime. They don't really have big self transformations. So those are the people with the first caste. Actually, most majority of the population is first caste, first and second. First caste, basically, yeah, they're just, they're workers. They might be working from 9 to 5, or they might be working in the service industry. They might be working many jobs, and oftentimes their life is just how to survive. The second caste is a little bit different. Even though here we do see the state of consciousness is a bit above than just survival. We have here not just like the root basic chakra, right? But now we have the pleasure here. We have people who are very successful businessmen. A lay person is a second caste person. It's all about pleasure, it's all about money, it's competition, who has more money, who can afford more expensive luxuries, to show off, to your neighbors, or show off on social media. They love showing off on social media. um, Very like to indulge. It's all about money, it's all about sex, right? Because pleasure is sex, so it's all about indulgence. Oftentimes they actually also have sexual deviations um, in that arena. Basically, the movie, the Wall Street, right? Or what's this, Wolf from Wall Street, or something of that nature. Um, those are also the majority. Okay, so why am I explaining all this? So let's say next time when you start to talk to a person, let's say you meet somebody, whether it's interview or business meeting, now you can have a understand who you're dealing with, right? So let's say first cast, they're all just like about maybe like running away from reality, working from sunrise to sunset, just trying to maintain the basic necessities. Then the second cast we have, it's all about the luxury, it's all about who has the nicer car, who has a nicer house, sort of like this. Still, the consciousness is still shallow, right? Even though it's moved just beyond the survival. In India, they call it Vaishyas, which means they are the I don't know why it comes to this word, dealers, no, but not dealers. Well, actually, oftentimes they could be drug dealers as well. Sometimes second caste, like, they don't even care whether it's money made that is fair way, or just or unjust in a criminal way. They just want money. That's their goal. They just want money. Now, but in actuality, those are the caste that is traders, right? They trade things. That's why I'm saying they're businessmen. And sometimes it's not necessary that the person, whatever they do, the consciousness, the state of consciousness reflects what exactly they do. And I'll get more into that. This is actually, I don't hear that it is often talked. Well, first of all, I don't see caste system is talked at all. I've only heard this from Russian-speaking people, Russian-speaking community, but I've never heard somebody talks that sometimes the state of consciousness doesn't reflect what the person does, which is very, very unfortunate way. I mean, but I'll get later to that. But anyway, so those are the second caste people, right? Girls, money, pleasure, indulgence. How can they make more money? How can they show off more? Your average LA person, people from the richest people of the world, they are all second caste. It's just the businessman, the economic driven person. So now, knowing that we have majority of the world, majority of population, we have first and second caste, you can figure out why our world, why our society is run by economics, because that's the majority. And also it's a material plane, right? So most likely it will be like this for a while, for maybe not even just one yuga cycle, maybe for another 2 yuga cycles. But let's move into third caste. The third caste called Kshatriyas, right? Those are the warriors. Now this is a really more evolved person. And by the way, first and second caste, they're not interested in spirituality. They are not interested in anything to do with the spiritual. You don't even talk spirituality to them. You don't even talk to them healthy living. Well, maybe a little bit healthy living second guess can digest a little bit, but if it doesn't bring pleasure to them, if it, you know, if it has, or like a beauty, for example, or something that looks good, like don't even bring this to them, okay? Because they will deny it. Maybe they will attend yoga class 1 or 2 times, and that will be it, okay? So you can't really even talk to them spirituality, because I mean, it's not even in their radar, okay? Now, third caste, they are inclined spiritually. They're actually very much so spiritually inclined. Those are the people who are warriors, and warriors, they all about duty. Those people oftentimes are leaders, whether leader could be in a company, leader could be in a team, leader, political leader, social leaders. So those are like that person. He doesn't really so much interested in money, for example, right? Like first, the second caste, they just interested in money. It doesn't even matter how am I going to get those money. Third caste, they are duty people. They're very honest. They're so much in integrity within themselves. Oftentimes, I mean, I know there are cases where, for example, political leaders are not that, but those people overall, they are driven uh, by the sort of like hierarchy, right? Like they want to be on top, and it doesn't even matter if it's a small team somewhere, some like a startup little company. He wants to be the leader. If it's he's, let's say, you know, he's like maybe 15 and he works at the McDonald's. He wants to be the manager. Um, those people, they strive to be leaders. They strive to lead. They so much devoted, um, devoted to family, the country, to whatever, and they have high sense of duty. And sometimes that even duty actually plays the back role, but those people, they will be inclined spiritually. They actually have really good stamina and a lot of sort of like, should I say, dedication and patience to, for example, do yoga practices. Okay, if they dedicate themselves to something, they will um, go till the end. Okay, till sometimes they die, because those are kshatriyas, right? Those are the warriors. Um, Again, those are could be leaders in the community. They're interested in spirituality. They are actually could be starting their spiritual awakening, and those are the people that you really can talk to, like with spirituality. You know, if you want to talk to somebody, let's say you want to talk to them like about the God and this, and if you, especially if you can bring them information, something very juicy that they maybe never heard about it, they will be really interested in listening to you. They will like this, you know, that conversation will be very, very juicy to them. Now, and the final one, we have fourth caste, the fourth caste of Brahmins. Now, fourth caste also, some people I know categorize them into four little podcasts, that little fourth caste, but those are the people who sort of mastered those three, like, or maybe mastered in a past lifetime. It's impossible to jump from third to fourth caste. Just letting you know, unless you get initiated. but within the lifetime, it's very unlikely that jumping from one caste to another, unless there are certain things that also have to align. I mean, I've seen people who do that, but this is extremely rare situation. So normally, if people wanted to go from third caste, they required the initiation from a master. Certain processes they'll be involved. So the fourth caste, or the ones that are psychics, they are extrasensoric people, people who are aware of energies, people who can perceive future, healers, mediums. Of course, all your spiritual gurus or spiritual leaders, ascended masters, channelers. Those are the people from fourth caste. Clairvoyants, tarot readers. Now, tarot readers is a little bit tricky because I know most of the tarot readers right now these days are second and third caste. It's very rare phenomenon that I would see a tarot reader from fourth caste. So based on those caste system, now you can understand how it was structured back in the days, right? How it is structured back in the days. How, for example, Brahmins were very close to king, and king would be a leader, the third caste, and Brahmins would be the fourth caste, and how would they advise them, right? They would interpret their dreams, they would tell them the future, they will, perform all kinds of divinations. And I've heard some people say that Brahmins, there are only 10,000 people with the population. I don't know if I believe that. Some people say 144,000 of something of that nature. But regardless, however many people of fourth caste, we don't really often come across people who are clairvoyant, people who can feel something, extrasensoric people, have that perception. So now you have this information. Now you can recognize people that you meet, people that you come across based on this fourth caste system. And I will be uploading more videos based on this information, based on how it is life in fourth caste and third caste. I would imagine if you're already listening to this video, you are not first or second caste, because first and second caste, they would look at this first 2-3 minutes and they will basically close this video. So also, fourth caste is something that should be brought back into our society, because it's just makes things easier to know where you belong, and also knowing your dharma. Okay, I heard there are people who, for example, finished Harvard University, and they did not like it. They actually would rather be in service. It's what brought them happiness, and there's absolutely nothing wrong about it. We need all people, we need everybody. It's not that fourth or third caste is better than first and the second one, but we need that. We cannot just tell, for example, a person who has born with a vision, or maybe they born as a talented writer or a channeler or whatever the incredible talent. We cannot just tell this person, this child, hey, go become a doctor or become a lawyer. A doctor and a lawyer, it's all the profession from the second caste, and maybe your parents are also people from the second caste, or maybe the first caste. So, and you already have a vision. You have such an open vision because you are like high third caste, or maybe the beginner a fourth caste, or whatever you may be. And do you see that you can't just listen blindly to your parents in this case? Okay, so I hope it helped, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.